So the quote of the day is, "It is not the mountain we conquer, but ourselves." And that's from Edmund Hillary. And the reason I picked this quote is because I'm feeling really good right now. And I'm feeling really good not just because things are going okay in my little world, but because some of the things that I have been working to improve over, let me do this real quick, over the last, I don't know, few years now, are starting to pay off. And the interesting thing that I find is that it's not like this big production. Like the achievements, there are some achievements that have been like huge check boxes, deserve a little bit of fanfare, you know, things like that. But a lot of the stuff that I've been working towards getting better at have just kind of become part of the routine, but become part of just everyday life. They follow, like things fall away, and then picking them back up is not like this dramatic heavy lifting feeling. Not to say that that isn't possible, especially if things get overwhelming for extended periods of time. Let's see. The example is the big example that really made me think about it is the fact that school started this last week. And over the summer, I get up earlier than previous me would have gotten up. I have always been, well, maybe not always. There was a point in my childhood where I started like noticeably sleeping later, and it was just like for ages. It was just like the later I could sleep, the closer to leaving I could get to still like get up and get like my shower done and brush my teeth and get ready for school or get ready for work or whatever. That was, if I could do that stuff in 15 minutes, roll out of bed, get all that done and leave, that's how late I would sleep. I love sleeping. I kind of wish I didn't love it so much. But I've always pushed my limit as far as like how late I could get away with sleeping in. And especially when I worked mostly evening jobs, oh man, in my late teens and early 20s, if I didn't have to be anywhere, I would sleep late. I mean, that's fairly typical for that age, but you know, getting a job that was early in the morning, having kids that have to catch the bus or get to school, like those things were like, I would describe it as I was a morning person by default. But the older I've gotten, I will not ever claim to be a morning person. I am not a morning person in any stretch of the imagination. But the necessity combined with the realization that there were other things I wanted to do too in that same amount of time that I would have slept has shifted to where I get up earlier now than I would have before. So over the summer, I still got up sometime between 7 and 8, probably around 7:15, 7:30, somewhere in there, which for some people, not early. For me, early. But I knew school was coming, and I knew I was going to have to start getting up earlier, which I have. But in the summer, I was sleeping a little bit later than I do for school stuff, so I wasn't getting as much done in the early morning before work. And that's okay. I don't feel bad or guilty about it. I just was like, okay, I feel like I need to sleep in a little bit more. I need the rest for whatever reason, where we're staying up later because it was summer. But this first week of school, I've already done, now that I'm getting up just like even 30 minutes earlier than I was over the summer, I've already started cleaning and organizing and working in at least 15 to 30 minutes of chores that I had let slide a little bit or slide into different time slots over the summer, and it felt like nothing. It felt like, oh yeah, this is what we do. And that was something that I had consciously had to choose over sleep as I was transitioning through getting up earlier and accepting the fact that that was a time slot that worked for certain types of things. It worked for content creation stuff, it worked for chores, it worked for whatever reason. And even though it slipped away a little bit in the summer, or like I said, shifted, it's not like I can let laundry just never get washed in the summer. That's not real. But like, I adapted because I was letting myself sleep in a little bit. But getting back, I mean, it's less than a week, or no, it's a week into school, and I'm already like, oh, look, this whole section of the kitchen counter is better maintained in 1 week than, you know, it didn't take me 6 months to, oh, okay, we're doing this again, you know, like, whatever. And it feels good. It feels good to just be like, oh, yeah, this is just routine now. And it wasn't a big fanfare. I make it a big fanfare by talking about it out loud and letting other people know that, like, you don't necessarily have to acknowledge it or celebrate it or whatever, but just know that, like, some of those goals that we have for, like, improving, decluttering our house or maintaining different spaces in our home, or, you know, just building in exercise or eating better or stuff like that. A lot of times when you achieve those goals, it's probably gonna not feel like a big to-do. You can make a big to-do out of it, and you should if you want to, like, get like that endorphin rush out of it, and that's fine. But like, it doesn't necessarily have to feel momentous, because those kind of goals, self-improvement goals, they eventually will just become mundane, and realizing they've kind of just happened or become normal for you, that is the achievement. Because honestly, that is kind of the dream, is that it no longer bothers me when I notice that the toilet needs to be clean, and oh God, why, you know, whatever whiny, bratty, you know, internal, external expression of not wanting to deal with something obnoxious and just doing it because you've built the habit of doing it, is good. It's good to make it not feel like this huge burden. And it can, getting into that state can be very subtle, where you didn't even realize that it was just, that's just normal now. And I would rather it feel just normal now, as opposed to annoying and frustrating and gross or whatever. Yesterday I finally did something. Our bathroom sink gets a lot of traffic. I mean, there's 4 of us and we only have a bathroom and a half, so a lot of people use the same sink, and so it gets clogged. It needs cleaning, whatever, and it actually had a slow drain. What it really needed was for me to take the stopper out and, you know, snake it out and clean it and all that. And I'd been wanting to buy a sink shroom, which, if you don't know, it's like a little, it looks kind of like a mushroom. It's got a little top on it that, you know, sits over your drain. And then it's got, I don't know, maybe like 2-3 inches, well, maybe it's like 2 inches worth of like a little catch. And then like this silicone ring that's got little flanges on it that's designed to catch, you know, hair and anything that might fall into your sink. But then you can just pull it out, wipe it off, clean it, and put it back in. And it makes dealing with clogged or clogging materials super easy. And I've been wanting to get one of those for a few years now. And finally, I was like, if I'm going to have to disassemble this stopper thing and clean and do all of that, and I have $15, maybe I should just go ahead and get it. And then when I clean it out, I can just replace that thing and make the tasks simpler. And I don't ever want to deal with cleaning that out, because it's always gross. Like, it's always a gross thing, no matter how long it's been. It's never a fun task, but if I can do something, it's like, I'm going to clean it anyway. I might as well just do the thing. And I didn't look forward to it, and I didn't want to do it, but I was just like, you know what happens when it's done? It's easier to deal with next time. And I was like, oh, well, let's just do that then. So that's what I did yesterday. I did that. So, good times. And it honestly, even though there was still that kind of knee-jerk reaction of, I don't want to deal with that, there was also part of me was like, just excited to be to the other side of it and make it easier for myself in the future. And it's done now. And it wasn't a big deal. Like, it was gross, and it took, you know, a little bit of time, because it takes a little bit of time to clean out your drain and deal with all that, but it's done now. 15 minutes is a long time and not long at all. You know? It's weird how that stuff works, where it's just like, it feels long, but it's also not really. Thanks for dropping in. If you want to hang out, I stream live on Twitch and YouTube Thursday evenings and middays on Sunday. I hope you have a lovely day, night, time, wherever you are, whenever you are. I'll see you next time.